welcome back. Steve Sport Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network, and of course we're very much ready, like I told you, of course, to bring you the latest revolving around of the beautiful world of sports this weekend. I'm not alone on the show. I have Emmanuel Michael. Michael, good evening to you, and welcome to Sport Extraordinary Weekend Edition.
Yeah, good evening to you, Kingsley, and good evening to our viewers out there.
All right, let's start things this evening with tennis, as after 2 seasons in the Portuguese Table Tennis League, former West African champion Taiwo Mati has joined French Pro B club Le Havre in his quest to reclaim his place in the national team. Mati, who last represented Nigeria at the 2023 African Games in Ghana, believes that moving to France will enhance his chances of returning to the national team and improving his game. In addition to playing regularly for his new team in the French League, Mati plans to participate in more World Table Tennis events to earn ranking points. Since joining Le Havre, Mati has become an integral member of the team. In their league opener away to Nice, they recorded 3-2 victory, starting their quest for promotion to Pro A on a positive notes. Michael, what do you make of the move of Mati? And of course, he said he's moving in order to make sure that he gets called up to the national team.
I think for me it's a good development because if you take a look at the quality of league between the French league and that of the Portuguese league, I think the French league has more quality compared to the Portuguese league out there in terms of tennis. We've had some notable names in the world of tennis, that actually hails from France out there, and that makes it very, very easy for their league to even be more developed because they have the facilities. They pay much interest in the tennis events out there compared to the Portugal league. So for me, I think it is a wise decision for Taiwo Mati. Hence, he wants to also come back into the national team and do very well. The last outing in the All-African game wasn't that impressive because the Egyptians, they were much better compared to the squad that we took in the last African game out there. Going out there to France, I think he's going to also improve on his game, and that gives him a better chance, to represent the country and not just representing Nigeria in major event, but to also perform better. Yeah, and since he was able to swap, switch from the Portugal league down to the French league, he's been very, very instrumental for Le Havre out there in terms of their quest to gain promotion into the Pro A event out there, because they are in a Pro B as it is right now. So for me, I think the experience that he's going to garner from France out there is going to enable him to also perform better when he's called up for the national team. So for me, I think it's a stepping stone towards a better acquisition of good ideas, more better skills to what he has already. So for me, I think it is a wise decision, and we hope that at the end of the day, it actually pays off for him.
When you take a look at table tennis in the country, Michael, it looks as if it has been on a decline. Even talking about Taiwo looking forward to get a call up to the national team. I think the reason he's doing this is as a result of the fact that he has not been that consistent. He has not been getting game time, in the former team, and that's why he's moving now, so that he can be saying, of course, he can get back to the limelight and possibly see how to come back to the national team. But it's been a very long time now. The table tennis down here in Nigeria has been on a decline. Even those plying their trade outside the country, they are not that fantastic. I don't know what you make of it.
I think it's a big challenge, a general problem that has to do with not just tennis in terms of sport development right here in the country. It's not just narrowed down to the tennis federation. It cut across other sporting sector that development of sport seems to be a very big issue. We have 1 or 2 states out there that you may want to say they are doing everything possible in order to enhance or improve the level of sporting infrastructure in their state, and also try to give some of the young athletes that have interest in tennis the opportunity to also sharpen or shapen their skills out there. So I think it's a big challenge that we need to also continue to talk about, because this is not the first time we've continued to hammer on the need for us to be very intentional about sport development generally, and not just narrowing it down to tennis. So it's a general problem that we are facing when it has to do with sport development, when it has to do with unearthing talent and keeping a close tab on them to ensure that they continue to progress from one stage to another in order to get better. It has been a difficult moment for us, and for me, even some of our Nigerian players that are based abroad in different sporting categories, sometimes they don't even feature regularly for their club side out there. He talked about some of them that are outside there not having a regular playing time for their club side out there. Sometimes this thing could boil down to the fact that maybe their quality is not that good compared to the players that they have there in their club side out there, because if you and I are playing in the same club side and I have more better edge, maybe my skill is better than you, of course you would definitely sit on the bench while I will also continue to start games week in, week out there. So for me, I think it is something that we need to not just keep talking about, but we need to take pragmatic steps towards making sure that we improve the level of tennis development. Aside from Haruna Quadri, Taiwo Mati, Funko Shonaike, these are the few names that regularly that readily comes to your mind when you talk about tennis right here in the country. But the question is, the Taiwo Mati that we are talking about, how consistent has he been in his club side out there? The Funko Shonaike you talked about, how regular have they been their club side out there? I think the only player we can vouch for is Haruna Quadri, because of his experience, because of his prowess over the years. I think there is no club that will have the kind of quality in their rank in the person of Haruna Quadri that wouldn't want to start such a player. So for me, I think a lot needs to be done. Right from the home scene right here, we need to start building our own house. We need to start laying a proper foundation for tennis development. I mean, we have the talent. It's just the opportunity and the facility for this talent to also use as a ladder to climb to the top is what is lacking. If you go to Lagos State out there, go to Ogun State, they have good tennis players. Go to Osun State. I've been in this state that I'm mentioning. I'm not just mentioning this state. I've been there. If you go to Igomode Grammar School in Ogun State, to be precise, every weekend you get to see good tennis players out there. But then, do they have the support from the local scene? Do they have the support from the tennis federation? Tennis federation themselves, they even organize annual or maybe monthly events or quarterly events for some of the tennis players out there to come and showcase their talent, so that we can use that as maybe a platform to also discover more talent. Do we even have the necessary facilities on ground? These are many questions that the Nigerian Table Tennis Federation need to answer before we start talking about some of them that it is leaving the shores of the country to go for greener pastures in order to develop their God-given talent out there. So for me, there are so many obstacles and challenges that is bedeviling tennis development right here in the country, starting from maladministration, starting from putting the wrong people in the position of authority, starting from recruiting members of the board that have nothing to do, that have nothing to offer, that can't even think outside the box on how to better the game or to better the position or the organization which they have been drafted in. Also for me, these are so many challenges that have actually hampered the growth and development of tennis right here in the country, and it is not for our good. If, for example, the likes of Funke Oshonaike, Taiwo Mati, Haruna Quadri decide to resign or retire rather at this moment,
I think Funke Oshonaike is no longer active.
She's no longer active. She played her last game, whether a ceremonial game or thereabout, about 3 months ago. Actually was following it, but due to the fact that it wasn't that publicized, I had to drop interest in it. So you can take a look at it right now. That is another step backward, because if Haruna Quadri, who is also aging, get to retire at this point, which other name will readily come to your mind and say, okay, we have capable hand that is going to take the place of some of these big names that we've mentioned? You know, the Taiwo Matthew we're talking about right now, go to the world ranking as it is right now. He's ranked in a very poor position. I think the only better ranked player that we can boast of is only Haruna Quadri. The last ranking, we saw Taiwo Matthew about 130 something or 157 in the world, which for me I think is not a good one for us. So there is need for Table Tennis Federation of Nigeria to start, thinking outside the box on how to better the sport itself.
All right, let's see how it goes for Taiwo Matsi. We hope that he will improve in his new club. Now, the French League Pro B is known for its fast pace and thrilling matches, showcasing the immense talent and skill of professional table tennis players from across the country. It is not only a celebration of table tennis, but also a gathering of passionate fans who come together to support their favorite teams and players. The electrifying atmosphere in the arena is filled with cheers, applause, and anticipation as spectators witness intense competition. Overall, the French League Pro B is a must-watch tournament for table tennis enthusiasts, offering a captivating blend of skill, athleticism, and sportsmanship. And we hope that all of this will be able to spur Taiwo Matsi to bring back the best in him. But still talking about, tennis, Novak Djokovic is targeting a 100 ATP title, and but he says the imminent prospects of being the final active player from the big four of men's tennis feel, overwhelming. For many years, Djokovic had intense and rewarding rivalries with Roger Federer, Andy Murray, and Rafael Nadal, who joined him in the famed quartet. And Federer retired in 2022, while Murray ended his own career in August. And Djokovic has won 24 Grand Slam titles, a men's record, and he claimed a long-awaited Olympic gold earlier this year. What do you make of it? Out of the big four, Michael, four of the players, the top players, they've retired now. From what we got this week, talking about the man Rafael Nadal, he has actually confirmed that after the Davis Cup, he will be calling it a quits. Andy Murray has retired. Roger Federer has retired. Now remaining Novak Djokovic, out of the big four at this point in time. What do you make of it? The top players, the legends, we have in tennis, they are gradually fading away. What do you make of the future of tennis in the absence of these big names?
Well, for me, being the last man standing comes with a whole lot of pressure, especially where he's chasing a record to also, catch up with some of the greats that you've just actually mentioned. At 99, he's going in for the 100 title as it is. It is a big pressure, which he also acknowledged. Then again, for the fact that he's the last man standing out of the big four, I think it is very exciting somehow, but then it comes with a whole lot of pressure, like I said, for him to also, finish on a high and then again continue to chase the record that is standing before him, But then I think the future of tennis away from this big four, I would say, yeah, it's very safe in the hands of Carlos Alcaraz, the hands of
really
Yannick
safe,
of
really,
course,
really safe.
Of course, at Carlos Alcaraz, he's doing massive thing. At some point,
I think it was also that in the Shanghai Masters. I think that was yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, but then you can't just use only the Shanghai Master to, judge, such a young, talented player out there. He still has age on his side to even do more great things. Talk about Yannick Sinner, still very young as well, who also have...
I understand you, Michael, but when you take a look at likes of Federer, Andy Murray, Rafael Nadal, even Djokovic at this point, consistency has been the reason why they were able to achieve what they achieved during their time. Consistency, even at this moment, Djokovic is still maintaining some level of consistency. So, Yannick Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz, today they win, tomorrow they drop, tomorrow they are the top 10, tomorrow they are the top 5, tomorrow they are not there. That consistency, you think the consistency is really there? Because that's the thing. If you're not consistent, there's no how you can achieve, more. We're looking at a tennis player that can possibly go all the way to Grand Slam, to number 20. Djokovic has done it. In the men's category, is the man with the highest Grand Slam, 24 Grand Slam at the moment. So Alcaraz, Yannick Sinner, do they have what it takes to maintain that level of consistency, to winning, let's say, about 20 or thereabouts before they get to 37 years of age?
Well, I think for me, if there's anything to go by from what we've seen them achieve so far at this their young age, I would say yes, there's still age on their side to also, get better. And of course, the older they get, the more experienced they become, and that gives them an advantage. The likes of Roger Federer, the likes of Novak Djokovic, name them Rafael Nadal, at their tender age, just like Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, they weren't that consistent. It took them time to also build that consistency.
They wouldn't have achieved what they achieved today.
Yeah, but it was not at that young age that all these four were that consistent. If all these four were that consistent, maybe all these four of them would have maybe 100, Grand Slam each. I mean, differently. Maybe Novak Djokovic right now on 24 Grand Slam, Roger Federer will be on a 23 Grand Slam, then Rafael Nadal will be on a 20 Grand Slam. No. So it's about a mixture of both. Maybe consistency and inconsistency from one player to the other. But then, like I was saying, I think, as the time comes along, they will get at least used to experience, and it will also add more value to what they are doing right now. For me, you talk about consistency. Of course, yes, you need to be very, very consistent for you to maintain the level of, form or the level of success that we've seen the likes of Novak Djokovic achieve. But then, I think it is, one step after the other before you get there. Like I said, the big question is, taking a look at what they've been able to achieve or what they bring to the table at this tender age, do they really have what it takes? Of course they do have what it takes. It's just a matter of time, and they will get better as they are aging. So also they are garnering more experience to help them get better. Not just these two, not just Carlos Alcaraz or even Yannick Sinner. You still have other young players. Still have Taylor Fritz out there.
How consistent?
You may say, yeah, he's not consistent. Stefo out there, not consistent. Emma Raducanu, not consistent.
That's the female category, Emma Raducanu.
Now, but for me, I think if the era of this big grade have come to an end, I still believe that we still have some of the young lads that has what it takes if they continue to develop and are very passionate of at least setting a record. And the record should be, I want to meet up, I want to catch up with the record of Roger Federer, I want to catch up with the record of Novak Djokovic. I think these are some of the things that will actually propel them to do better. But if they remain stuck at the level where they are right now, then it will be very, very difficult to hit the stride where we saw Novak Djokovic doing great things out there. And sometimes you need to also think in a different manner, because don't forget, when these four were very, very active, it was very, very difficult for some of these young lads to break even. Why? Because of their consistency. Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, name them. Big name players, and that consistency
that's
was
the level
there.
of consistency I'm talking about.
Yes, that's
but even today, we're still seeing Djokovic still outclassing Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz.
That is what I'm saying, that experience matters a lot. Experience matters a lot. And I'm saying that when these players continue to grow old and they continue to gain more experience, at least it will be better for them. Let's say maybe the eras of this Big Four couldn't allow some of the young lads then to compete at the same pace with them, just because of the level of consistency that we've seen. We saw that in the football era of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, where almost over the period of 10 to 12 or even 15 years, two of them, it was more like a duopoly between two of them. It's either Lionel Messi win this year's Ballon d'Or award or Cristiano Ronaldo win it. Not that there are no other players that were so good like them, but then because of the level of standard and the level of consistency these two were setting for themselves, it makes it look as though they were the only two players in the whole of this generation that was existing. But not that we don't have great players then, but their level of consistency made it very difficult for you to look away from these two great out there. But then within this period, we saw great players like Neymar Jr., we saw other great players like even the Kylian Mbappe that is still growing today. But then were they able to make marks then? No. Not that they were not good, but the level of consistency of these two players was very difficult to allow some of these players to break even. And the same thing we saw in the era of this tennis, where the era of these big four, because of their level of consistency, it couldn't allow other young players to break even and make their mark as well. So for me, I think it may be a blessing in disguise for Carlos Alcaraz and for Yannick Sinner or even Taylor Fritz. Now that four of them is about to leave, maybe it is an opportunity for them to grab, only if they develop and continue to improve and make their own mark as well and write their own history for themselves.
All right, let's see how it goes. We'll look forward to see what comes up from as the Nigerian Premier Football League has issued a stern warning to clubs facing complaints of overdue payables and contracts breach. The league body has given all the clubs a deadline of Monday, October 14 to resolve the issue or have the licenses for their new players withdrawn indefinitely. Now, the MPFL had earlier given the affected clubs an extended grace until Friday, October 11, as directed by the Players' Status Committee. Now, list of clubs facing complaints over overdue payables and contract breaches are Heartland, Bender Insurance, Shooting Stars, Kwara United, Lobby Stars, and Economy Warriors. Abbey Warriors not also left out. Eyimba as well, Katsina United and Akwa United. Heartland have complaints of overdue payables and contract breaches with former coach Kennedy Boboye, Ezekiel Bassi, Stephen Chukwudi, Otido Ocheme, Prince Momo, Apu Tezie Uguchuko, Samuel Emeka, Owo Ubke Ifeanyi, and as well Austin Oyasade, Patrick Umobora, and as well Chukwudi Osebe. Now, Shooting Stars, Bender Insurance, Kwara United, Lobby Stars, and Academy Warriors have issues of overdue payables and contract breaches with Sikiru Alimi, Yusuf Akim, Ashira, Adekunle Oyabami, Samuel, Samuel, beg your pardon, Solomon Babatunde as well. Now, these are the players and the coaches that are being owed, by some of the teams in the MPFL. Michael, what do you make of it? The league body is now coming with, a different measure now to tackle all of this issue of players being owed, coaches being owed as well in the Nigerian Premier Football League.
Well, I think it's a nice move by the league body, but it should. The deadline day was 11th of October.
It has been shifted.
It has been shifted, but then I also think that they should be very, very, pragmatic about it. They should be very ready to, met out the required punishment for these clubs who are not willing to change their attitude in terms of the entitlement owed to their players and the coaches out there. We hear of the recent case where Kennedy Boboye have also dragged the Heartland to court as well, courts of paid the wages and allowances when he was a late goal last season. So for me, I think it is very, very unprofessional for Nigerian club side to be doing this. The few names we just rolled out here are the ones that we hear that is also well, maybe properly articulated for the media to carry out there. What about those ones that we did not hear? Because I believe that there are more cases that did not come to the media than the one that I just mentioned right now. So for me, I think it's very disappointing. I want to say, and very disheartening that professional football clubs are not living up to the terms of their agreement. You can't sign an agreement with a player or with a coach that this is how much we'll be paying you monthly. Let's say 100 naira, for example. At the end of the month, you don't pay that player. Then you reach an agreement, there is a contract terms and clause that is inserted before a coach or a player is signed for you. And now, when you fail to fulfill that, then you just allow the player or the coach to leave without demanding for his or her money. I think for me it's very, very unprofessional. Kennedy Boboye, for example, when he came into Heartland, let's say that he signed a contract of maybe 1 year, maybe with a sum of 10,000 naira, for example. Then he did not finish his job. The governor came in and altered the whole thing and they let him go. Even if it is under mutual consent, will you not pay him his entitlement? And it is getting up to a year, he's yet to receive anything. So for me, I think the Nigeria Premier Football League Board or the league board itself, it is a very, very good step that they are taking in the right direction so as to stem this ugly tide of players or coaches being maltreated by their clubs out there whenever they decide to leave or even terminate their contract. Here in the Nigerian Premier Football League, you will hear that before the start of the season, a club will just wake up one day and terminate the contract of like 10 players, 15 players in a blow, letting them go without fulfilling their contractual obligation. Is that how a professional club should be run? So for me, I think it is high time that the league board should look into it critically so that, to avoid this kind of embarrassment. Because don't also forget that some of these coaches and players, they are the breadwinners in their family. So when they are not paid their due or their entitlement, how do you intend them to survive with their family? With so many people who depend on them for livelihood, how do they offset their bills? So for me, I think it has been very, very, very unprofessional for club side right here not to fulfill the terms of agreement when they reach with a coach or even a player. Look to it critically, not just coming to say this on the media and at the end of it all, nothing happens. The situation continue, to be the same thing. This time around, I think they should take it very, very serious. And hearing clubs like Aqua United, Enyimba, being also engrossed with a professional attitude toward players or toward coaches that have actually given their all for the club side to grow.
All right, let's see how it is. We hope that these teams will be able to, of course, yield to the demand of the league board under Benga Elegbele. We'll take a break now. We'll come back from the break. Of course, we'll dash straight to the performance of the Super Eagles of Nigeria against Libya at Lagos Lakpabio International Stadium in Uyo. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back, Steve Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. It is the weekend edition for the show, and we'll bring you the latest revolving around the beautiful world of sports. Let's take a look at the 2025 AFCON qualifiers as we saw the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Of course, they got past Libya at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium. 1-0 it ended in that encounter. Michael, I know you truly monitored that game. What do you make of the performance of the Super Eagles in that encounter against Libya?
Well, I think for me, it was a great performance, I would say, despite the fact that it was a slim victory for us. But you can also agree with me if you actually watch the game, you say that, yeah, the Super Eagles, they actually did everything possible, everything humanly possible to ensure that they get all 3 points. We know as it is, they actually started the game on a very fine note. They dictated the pace, had to ask so many questions from the opposing team, talking about the Libyan team, who were very dogged in defense as well. But then we were able to continue to pile the pressure against the Libyans. It's just that the first half, the movement of the ball was very, very slow. We actually controlled the game, had good, possession of the game, but then we find it difficult to get the cutting edge, which is scoring the first goal that would have opened up the defense of the Mediterranean Knights of Libya. So in the second half, the coach had to do 1 or 2 substitutions out there, which actually paid off. But then for me, it was a slim victory. About the pattern of play overall, I think it was very, very okay. It's just that we moved the ball a little bit dull. Though may want to say, yeah, it is the tiki-taka stuff that Austin Eguavoen was trying to implement, which for me, I think is a nice one. But then there are certain things that comes with playing the tiki-taka game. There are 3 key ingredients that comes with the tiki-taka play. One, we talk about the short passes. Secondly, talk about positioning. Then third, we talk about possession, being in possession of the ball. That is the 3 things that the tiki-taka require. But then, that was the old form of tiki-taka. Pep Guardiola came and reinvented that tiki-taka and added one philosophy, one ingredient to it. Possession-wise, then positioning, then, playing the short passes. Fourth, that Pep Guardiola had to, add to garnish the tiki-taka was the fast movement of the ball. That is what we lacked in the game yesterday. It was a tiki-taka pattern of game. We hold on to the ball, knock it around. We're very good positionally, held position of the ball, but then we were not moving the ball faster. And that is why the Libyans, they had very much time on defense. Whenever we move the ball around, they are very okay to sit back and receive or counter-attack us along the way. So for me, I think we need to improve on moving the ball faster. You saw when he made that substitution, we saw more fast players coming into the way because Moise Simon is very fast. Dele Bashiru is also a fast midfielder. You talk about Samuel Chukwueze, he's very fast on the ball. So these are the things that help to open up the defense that actually got us the goal. If not, it would have ended in a barred draw. So totally, or generally rather, I think it was an impressive game for the Super Eagles, despite the fact that we find it very difficult to score a goal. But then, in all, I think they put up a human job yesterday. What matters is the 3 points that we were able to garner from that game, because it would have been very, very disappointing if after all the possession we failed to score a goal or to get all 3 points. Then it would have been a different ball game altogether. We wouldn't be saying what we are saying right here. It's either we start looking for fault on why Austin Eguavoen kept some players on the bench, why Austin Eguavoen came back into the team for the 3rd missionary journey, why Austin Eguavoen this time around, because he's been there. So many complaints out there would have come up, but then you were able to avert. Tom Dele Bashiru help us to avert the blame that we should have gone to the coach. Right now that he got the job done and dusted, whichever way he came, but the 3 point is very vital. Nobody is giving him the credit. you know, but he would have been bashed seriously by Nigerians if we had played all that we did yesterday, all the possession, all the, you know, tiki-taka, without getting all 3 points. Nobody will remember the beautiful game that we played yesterday. So for me, I think it was a great one. But then you need to give kudos to the Libyans out there as well. They gave a good account of themselves. Their defense was very, very organized. Their goalkeeper did a lot out there yesterday. Did some good saves in the first and even the second half out there. Despite the fact that he tried to deploy some dirty tactics of you know, delaying, you know, sometimes he falls on the ground and start to feint injury and all of that. When he get hold of the ball, he didn't want to, I mean, release the ball to his own players even on time. So, but then at the end of it all, we were able to break the deadlock, courtesy of that you know, superlative strike from the boot of Tom Dele Bashiru. So for me, I think it was a great and a impressive performance from the Super Eagles yesterday.
A lot of Nigerians are not happy that Lukman Ademola's goal was disallowed.
Yeah.
And that goal was ruled for an offside. I don't know what you make of the decision of the center referee in that one.
I think I can tell you for sure. We talked about this even off air, that, you know, it was a pure goal. I had to do some fact check again, you know, on the video. I had to go back and watch that you know, game or the goal again of Lukman Ademola. And I tell you, it was a clear goal. It's just that it was a mistake from the center ref, but the ref are humans as well, and that is why VAR was you know, brought into football to help, you know, the center ref in some of these kind of difficulties, you know. But then it's also quite disappointing that the CAF could not even you know, introduce the use of VAR in this African Cup of Nations Cup qualifier. That would have cost us a lot if Tom Dele Bashiru didn't come in to score that 86-minute late goal out there. This same thing also occurred in our last away game to Rwanda, where we also scored a clean goal, but they ruled it off for an offside. Yesterday was a clear goal from Lukman Ademola, because you can see from the 18-yard box, the Libyan defenders, they were flat-footed, and the ball came inside the box. Lukman Ademola had to run faster than them because they were flat-footed. It was a pure goal, but the referee did not deem it necessary to award the goal. You know, he said it was an offside. And I tell you, if VAR was used in that yesterday game, I tell you, the center ref or the VAR officials in the VAR room would have called his attention and going to the sideline to monitor, to the screen monitor. He should have, you know, awarded that ball for a goal. But then I blame CAF as well, and I also blame the linesmen as well, who could not see that that ball wasn't an offside. But then that is a story for another day. The only important thing is that we were able to squeeze out that 3 points, and the rest is history.
And of course, the man, Victor Boniface, of course, was on the lips of everyone after that game, because everyone thought this was going to be his opportunity due to the fact that Victor Osimhen is not in the game. But Victor Boniface, you know, couldn't, you know, put the ball in the back of the net. What do you make of his goal drought in the Super Eagles of Nigeria so far?
I think it is worrisome. Worrisome in the sense that he's doing great things, banging in the goals for his, you know, Bundesliga side, talking about Bayern Leverkusen. You know, he scores goal left, right, and center. But when it comes to the national team, he finds it very difficult to score goal. And I tell you, I think the way he plays for Bayern Leverkusen is quite different from here. In Bayern Leverkusen, this is European football and this is club side football. You always have the chance to, you know, caress the ball, take on defenders. You rub pancakes and powders on the ball before he now strikes the ball into the back of the net. But this is Africa, brother. This is Africa. It's quite different. You don't allow, defenders wouldn't allow you to, you know, to stun them, turn their waist left, right, and center, and give you the time for you to balance before you take the shot that will score. No, he had a couple of chances in the first half. What did he do? He want to rub oil on the ball. He want to rub pancake and garnish it very well before he score. No, and that is the difference between Victor Boniface and Victor Osimhen. Because if you give Victor Osimhen some of the chances that came the way of Victor Boniface yesterday. He will muscle himself through. One of those chances would have resulted to goal. Why? Because he doesn't dress the ball too much. All he just needs is just one tap. He strike, and before you know it, it's either a deflection, it result to a goal. It's either a penalty or a handball inside the penalty, inside the 18-yard box. It will result to a penalty. So for me, I think Victor Boniface need to realize that when it comes to national team, it's quite different from club side. When he get one chance, try to shoot. Something could happen. But he got about 3 chances, especially in the first half. He was trying to dress the ball too much. And defenders won't give you that time to do that in African football. So for me, I think he need to change. I listened to the coach yesterday, shortly after the game. He was asked the same question. He said that he was going to talk to Boniface, because of the way that he garnishes the ball. He wants to hold on to the ball too much inside the 18-yard box. And I believe maybe in our next outing, he has learned his lesson. And maybe, just maybe, next outing, he's going to score a goal.
All right, let's see how it goes for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We hope that in the next outing, Victor Boniface will find the back of the nets, at the end of the day. But away from that, Manchester United boss Eric Ten Hag has been told he needs to remove Bruno Fernandes as the club captain. Former manager and professional footballer Alan Perdue urged the Red Devils boss to remove the armband from the Portuguese. He reckoned that the Portugal international is not capable of controlling his emotions in the team. Michael, is Bruno Fernandes the problem of Manchester United? Why is he on the limelight, or why is he in the news this time?
I think it is not unconnected with his, attitude. He complains, he nags a lot on the pitch of play out there. And as a leader, there are certain things that you don't do because, members of your team out there is looking up to you as a leader, as a captain on the pitch of play out there. And the man nags too much. And 2, he's very temperamental. Every little thing he complains, even when he's fouled and the referee has already given that as a foul, he will still complain. So what do you expect the center ref to do? The man is too temperamental. 2, it complains too much, and with such attitude, it's not good for you to lead, other people on the pitch of play as their captain out there. Then again, you saw him receiving red card in the Premier League, and before he could say Jack in the European Cup as well, he also received another red card. Is that a person that is befitting for a captain? If not for the appeal for the red card that he received in the Premier League, that would have stood. Then again, coupled with the one he received, back-to-back straight red card for a captain of a team. No, now. So take a look at the attitude of Bruno Fernandes. I do not see him as a worthy captain. And I was very, very critical last time, if you can also remember, when the captain was stripped from Harry Maguire and given it to him. I told us right here, and even our sister station, that Bruno Fernandes does not possess the right quality of a leader on the pitch of play. And definitely some other professionals have also come out to also voice and drum the same opinion that I was saying. Bruno Fernandes, no doubt, a great midfielder, but then you need a cool-headed player, one who is matured on and off the pitch to be able to lead a team on the pitch of play as a captain. And he doesn't have that leadership quality on the pitch of play. I don't know, maybe he has it in the dressing room or off the pitch, but on the pitch that everybody can see, I tell you, he doesn't have it. He's too temperamental. He complains a lot, receiving back-to-back red cards, yellow cards here and there. No, I think Eric Ten Hag should think twice.
All right, let's see how it goes. Will Ten Hag, of course, remove the captain armband from Bruno Fernandes? We'll see how that one will go. But still talking about issues down there in England, Bukayo Saka has withdrawn from the England squad for the next game, for the next encounter down there. And from what we're seeing, the 23-year-old winger was substituted early in the second half against Greece after picking up an injury in his right leg. Saka has been an ever-present for Arsenal so far this season, scoring 3 goals in 10 appearances in all competitions. The Gunners' first match after the international break is away at Bournemouth on the 19th of October. And this, of course, not a very good one, Michael, as it stands, for Arsenal Football Club. And they missed their key player, talking about Martin Odegaard, and now Bukayo Saka. This injury has been coming. It just that, you couldn't get him in time, on time, but it has finally gotten to him at this point in time. But the nature and the duration of the injury has not yet been disclosed. But I don't know what you make of it. You think this will affect Arsenal in any way?
Of course, for sure. He is their key player, one of their key players. As it is, it will certainly affect Arsenal Football Club in their title chase this season, and even for the UEFA Champions League and other competition that they will be involved during the course of him being away. Although it has not been officially confirmed on how long he's going to be sidelined, but we understand he has left the camp of the Three Lions down to Arsenal Football Club right now, so that their medics can also take a proper assessment and evaluation about the nature or the level or degree of the injury before they could also come up with an official statement on how long he's going to be sidelined. But I tell you, it's not a very good news for Arsenal fans across the globe, because Bukayo Saka is one of their key players out there. Coming in at a point where also Martin Odegaard, another key player for the Arsenal side, is out injured as well. I think it's definitely going to affect Arsenal title challenge so far this season. Because the season, we want to say, is still very much, young, very young as it is right now. But then, 1 or 2 games or even 3 games that Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard is going to be away for the Arsenal squad, which other like replacements that will come into stand in or salvage the situation during the course of this period where Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard is going to be out? So for me, I think it's a troubling time for Arsenal fans, and even Mikel Arteta missing Bukayo Saka, who has been ever present for the Arsenal team, doing his best to ensure that at least Arsenal get positive result. I think it is not a good sign at all for them. It's going to affect their season well.
Not a good sign, of course, at this point in time, but we hope that Bukayo Saka will be able to recover in time and join the team, because they have a lot, of course, to achieve this time around. But away from that, we hear that Real Madrid have increased the salary of Jude Bellingham and that of Vinicius Jr. To, of course, be